And we have the lights coming on now. 10 lights, and they are out, and we are away. And Evo's just completely not got off the line at all. Look how many positions he's lost, but going through, Tuman has taken the lead. Tuman has got the best start and has jumped his teammate as he's fighting with Leah rather than fighting with his teammate. There's a VSC already, and we've 10 seconds
chaos
until we've had some kind of VSC. I don't know quite what's caused it, but maybe some drivers in the midfield have damage.
Just looking at the position changes, Jack lost 4 positions, Evo also lost 4, Albi lost 2, so there was a lot of bad starts up there, but Ali, 10th at the moment, he started 14th. He's made a great start, making 4 positions. I think that was just incident avoidance, to be honest. There was a lot of sideways cars who managed to save it, and I'm not sure who that was, but I did see a 5-second penalty in there.
Yes, that is Zakis Beast and SLR Barlow, both receiving 5-second penalties for hitting each other, as Jack Moll is really struggling and he's down in last with no front wing, as SLR Dosser has been overtaken under the safety car by Drastic Blaze, who also has no wing. So that's a very interesting start.
I was on board with Jack.
Yeah, you were on board with Jack?
I was on board with Jack at the very beginning, right when the lights went out, just looking at the rear of the field. And he got a terrible start, and I'm not sure how he's managed to get up in an incident. He was about half off second to last straight away.
Oh, this is a big crash. Scarborger has gone. Scarborger has hit his wing, and he is out. And there's another crash, and that is Alpay. And they have both gone on the same straight. And yes, that is a big incident. They both had 2 completely separate crashes on the exit at the final corner, and they have both lost their wings, and they are both pretty much out of the running. So that is 5 people pitted with damage at the end of lap 1, as Alpay has retired in the pits after that.
So you said separate incidents then?
Yeah, Tuman's gone! Tuman has spun from the lead. Tuman had a 1.5 second lead, and he has just completely lost it. And he is now dropping down, way down. He's reversed off the track and he's luckily not gone with anyone. But Tuman, the provisional race leader, has spun in these conditions. As I think that's Evo's kind of gone a bit as well. Evo has spun and lost his wing. There's another VSC, and wow, I'm pretty sure half the field have spun in the first couple of laps here. And yeah, this is absolutely horrendous conditions for these drivers. This is absolutely ridiculous.
And he's up 8 positions in just 2 laps. That's what incidents avoidance does for you. All you got to do is not crash, and he's up 8 positions. Really, really, really good start from him. Charlie, Barlow, both up 5 positions respectively, and Andrew was making a good start, up 4. And Golden Egg Fryer, P10 from 18th. Wow.
What a guy! What a guy! He stayed out of trouble, and he has got the rewards for it, as the VSC is going to be ending at some point soon, and hopefully Tuman hasn't got damage from his incident and can recover a bit. I know Evo does, but Tuman still has a decent chance of points here if he'd avoided damage, and he's definitely going to have some good pace. He's begun to close the gap, as Panther's got a drive-through. Panther's got a drive-through for speeding the race leader. So the 2 McLarens, from being 1-2 in qualifying, Tuman has spun, dropped down to 11th, and Panther has to serve a drive-through penalty. So that is Leah in P1, but it's not, because he spun. He's spun. So Kevin moves up, and Ali's out.
From an amazing start, and Leah's got another drive-through penalty for the collision with Ali. So maybe it was his fault, maybe it was the game, but wow, Ali made an absolutely amazing start, and now he's out.
This is absolutely ridiculous.
Golden Egg Fry's up 10 positions.
And he's going to gain another one after Panther serves his drive-through, but that is Kevin in P1. The two Aston Martins are on the podium here, but no one wants to win this race at the moment. This is absolutely treacherous. Everyone is struggling so much.
Well, I will add with Panther, I know he's got his drive-through penalty, it still is early, and he's got really, really good pace, and he's going to try and use it now, using all of his ERS. He will be able to put a respectable gap, I think, at the paces at the moment. So damage limitation for Panther at the moment.
Indeed, it is. Yes, he's got to focus, head down, and just try and gain as much time as he possibly can. as Lear has pitted to serve his drive through and potentially has damage as well, as Tooman sets the fastest lap of the race. So there we are. Could we see a bit of a fight back from him?
I'm not sure if we picked up on it.
A lot.
But Scarborough retired in the pits, so he has ended his race early, quite early to do it, especially with the chance of a safety car. But he decided that.
Maybe he has side pod damage. Maybe he has something like side pod damage, and that's going to be literally undrivable in the wet. But yeah, this is absolute chaos, and not only do we have the likes of Golden Egg Fryer up 10, but DRT Andrew is in P5 as the yellow in sector 3, and I think that's Jack Mull has had a bit of a moment. He is spun on pit entry. So, really struggling here is Jack Mull. He's basically completely drifting as he tries to right himself and loses his front wing. So, as there's a safety car, there is a safety car.
Cannot service penalty. He's going to try and do it. No, okay. I thought he was going to try and do it.
He
cannot
can't.
service
He could
penalty.
get disqualified. He could get disqualified here by the game if he's unlucky. But yes, a safety car has been destroyed. I presume that is because of Jack Mull's crash.
I will say, I thought Padfield was going to put a respectable gap. He actually ended up losing like 4 or so attempts to Kevin. And now that's going to be, he's going to lose all his time because of the safety car.
Indeed.
Tooman P9 from, about P14 after a spin, so... He's...
Anyway, this bunches up the field and... pretty much puts Panther out of it. Had he served his drive-through before the safety car, then he'd have been able to catch up properly. But he has his drive-through, and he's going to have to serve it when everyone is there. As Midzi in the chat has said, "What is this?" with a laugh on his face. I agree. I have no idea what's going on in this race.
Is this a league
race? This is absolute carnage.
Oh.
This is, I mean, it's full wet and bottom. I mean, we saw it and we said red flag the session as Corey has said exactly the same thing. And, well, a red flag definitely makes a lot of sense now.
Well, I don't think that's. I don't know what if that's written in the SLR rules, but can we manually red flag a race?
Yeah, I think we perhaps should, because it's clear that this is borderline undrivable for these drivers.
I think this might be the wettest it's actually possible to be in the game. But it's very clear that this is not drivable, not raceable. If you touch those puddles, see you later. And Jack Moore found out that if you touch any sort of throttle when you're standing still, you're going round.
As Golden Egg Fryer has hopped into the pits, it's a bit of an interesting call from him. Going on to another set of wets. He's going to lose a few positions, but...
No penalties for collision, so there was no way that he had any sort of damage. I didn't see anything. A bit strange.
He didn't repair his wing at all. Maybe he's thinking that the wets from the start would not make it to the end, and he wants a little bit of a fresher set of wets, just to kind of guarantee that he makes it to the end and try something a bit different here.
And if he is correct, those 5, 6 laps, or everyone else has got worn tyres, that doesn't mean too much now. But later on, if you've got that 5, 6 lap advantage over everyone else, it's gonna be insane. How much?
It'd be more insane because, well, if they reach puncture territory, then you won't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yes,
if they're in puncture territory, you won't be.
Yes, but at the moment, if you take into account Barlow's 5-second penalty, of course it could potentially be removed. Of course, he might end up pitting at some point in this race, but it could potentially be removed. It's a Kevin, Charlie, Andrew podium from P5, P10, and P11 on the grid. And we're only on lap 5. Are we on lap 5 or are we on lap 6?
Lap 6. So
lap 6.
I mean, you did say at the beginning that it was going to be minimal overtaking. You might have guessed it a little bit here because, like you said...
As the safety car is in. The safety car is coming in. And this is going to be a nightmare for these drivers because they'd have expected it to come in on the next lap. It's been called very, very late.
The issue is
and
now
so these drivers are going to have no tyre tank. So you're going to be seeing even more carnage here.
the limiter as well. When you don't even have a big enough gap, the limiter stays, and that can put you up. But I think everyone would be fine who's got an egg fry moves up one position. As Kevin, he moves a little. He goes a little bit wide with Panther. Barlow tries to sneak it, but
as well. And now Tuman's made up a position. He's up into
you've
seven.
got your flag. Evo,
His yellow flag.
Evo
is
and James.
out, and
Evo
OG
and
James has crashed.
And Leah's just coming out the pits.
Out. OG James has damage, and Leah's come out the pits. Yes.
So a bit more hectic as Jack and Tuman. Tuman gets past Jack around the outside.
Very nicely. Tuman can still win this. This safety car has been an absolute blessing for him. And he's got absolutely mega pace here, absolutely flying through the field.
He has so much more commitment, so much confidence than Jack on that right-hander. That was.
So despite that spin earlier on, it's just it's.
And I'm just looking at his exits. He's just got through midway of the corner. He's carrying just so much more speed than the guy ahead of him. He's really feeling himself at the moment as he does lock up all of his tyres, but it doesn't seem to have mattered. He's right all of that coming through.
Yes, as now we should expect Panther in the pits, and that would mean that Kevin takes the lead.
No.
So here we are, Panther. He stayed out. He's going to maybe get disqualified here at this rate. He could get disqualified.
Just one more lap.
Flag set to 3, and that's Golden Egg Fry is out. Golden Egg Fry has crashed. SLR DOS is in the pits, and there's another safety car. So another top. So Panther is going to be unable to serve his penalty again.
Now, does the game give him a lap extension, or is he now going to get disqualified?
I'm not sure. I hope he doesn't get disqualified.
Because that would be a bit sick.
Yeah, Panther is kind of proving why you should serve your drive-through penalties as soon as you get them, just in case there is a safety car. But yes, this is
so is that risk?
This is ridiculous. 6 people have retired so far, and honestly, there's going to be more. There is undoubtedly going to be more. 2 safety cars already, and yeah, we're not even done. We're not even a quarter of the way into this race yet.
We're not even 10 laps in. We're not even 10 laps into this race. 6 people out. Just going back to Panther, it's that risk. If you believe you have the pace to pull away and just minimise the damage of your drive-through, then you can kind of go for it. But then, like you said, there's always that risk of the safety car and just all your progress being destroyed.
Yes. But anyway, Panther is still going to be in the lead, and well, he's going to enjoy these laps in the lead from pole position, obviously, but he is going to be.
He does stay out, so the game is giving him an extension. We'll find out when he crosses the line. Yeah, he's fine. So the game does give him an extension, which I'm glad for him about. I've never seen this before. I'm not sure if it would have been nice for him or not, but it has been. As they are almost making their way to the safety car. They are quite bunched up already, with the exception of one car of OG James right at the back, who's going really slowly. I'm just on board with him now. Is there still a delta for him?
I think there will be, because the safety car came out when Panther was just entering turn 1, I believe. So
I think the delta disappears as he crosses the line.
The delta should disappear now, and he should be able to get up to a full speed. But he should have plenty of time to catch the safety car. He's only got to catch up, He's got to catch up 45 seconds, but the safety car travels at a considerably slower speed. So I think he should be fine. As Maxwell is saying, was it be worth Panther getting getting fresh tyres, going to the back and serving the drive-through of the safety car into the pits? I think it definitely would be, because he's going to lose about 15 seconds due to the drive-through anyway. So if he has fresher tyres, that's only going to be another 4 or 5 seconds that he is going to lose from taking the pit stop when he loses the positions. So yeah, I think it would be worth Panther pitting, getting on a fresh set of boots, and being even faster as well and making up that time in clean air.
As I read that comment, I instantly thought that's a stupid idea. But now thinking about it, that's really smart. If he pits, gets those fresh tyres, like you said, he might lose a few seconds. He might not lose anything at all. But yeah, that is a smart decision. But you've also got to consider the OG James. If he does take a pit stop, he will lose the position. So maybe you kind of want that track position over one other person. It can help. It can help you avoid an incident. It can help you if you it can help you over the course of the race, gain time.
Though to be fair, if you are last in these conditions, then well you can just keep a watching brief and just wait for the carnage to happen ahead of you. Anyway, that is also potentially a thing. I'd say it's better potentially to be right at the back of the field than in the mid pack in these conditions. Anyway.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, look at, I believe it was Golden Egg from who made out. I mean, he's DNF now, but he made up all those positions just by being at the back, or near the back, and not crashing. So you've also got to take that into consideration.
But then, of course, when he got up into the midfield, he crashed himself. So
exactly.
That is. You win some and you lose some. As OG James caught up, so all 13 runners are now with the leader. As AGLL Panther is going to take him away.
Oh, he's got to
and I wonder when
a
safety car is going to permanently come out and he's never going to serve his drive-through penalty.
Well, I wonder if he has to do it now. I wonder maybe he has to go in. It'll be interesting, but I wonder if he has to go in.
It would not be able to serve it though, because it's still technically safety car conditions until he crosses the start-finish line.
Oh, yeah,
he's away anyway. Kevin is right on his rear end. Panther goes defensive. I think Barlow's sniffing something as well. Barlow, could this be his opportunity to get past Kevin? Oh, as Panther and Kevin make contact. But Kevin does take the lead on track as well.
That's only going to hurt Panther now, as one more time, one extra position that he's going to be losing. Plus that penalty as Barlow gets all loose in the exit, meaning he won't have a chance on Panther too soon. As kind of there's fairly big gaps already.
Yes, there is. Jack, most notably, I think, had a pretty poor restart, so... Or maybe he was just being a bit cautious, anticipating a crash, as we said.
Already a second now between Kevin and Panther. He's 1.1,
yeah,
now
Kevin's
just back to 1 second.
Flying.
So.
As I'm now involved with Tooman, and is he going to make a little bit of a move on Andrew? Oh, he does, and he spun him round, and if I'm being honest there, Tooman, that move was never on. He was quite far back. He put his nose in there, and he lost, and he calls Andrew to spin. As now Hicklin's made up a move, and he's got up into P5 here as Hicklin made the move on Jack. So does Jack have damage?
Yeah, look how slow he is off the last corner. Drastic. He's made up 10 positions, potentially 9.
Panther finally serves his penalty. And Drastic Blaze up into P5.
12 positions he's gained since the beginning of the race. Not necessarily just because he's quick, but just because he is safe, and that's all we kind of need in these conditions. I will repeat it over and over and over again because it is just true.
Let's look at this. The pole sitter and the P2 driver in qualifying, P11 and P12, both down 10 places, and they are fighting. They're going to be fighting each other for P11. They ideally want to take 10 places off that to fight each other, but yes, the two McLarens now have an absolute job to do to catch up, and maybe Tooman has damage because he did not only did he make contact with Andrew once, but he made contact with Andrew 2 or 3 times. And I mean, potentially a penalty could be coming his way as well. As I mean, I'm probably going to put that down to locking up. I know Tooman's usually quite a clean driver, as Charlie has made it past Barlow up into P2. Yeah, Tooman's usually quite a clean driver, but just misjudged it on that occasion, potentially snatched a break.
Oh, James and Dosser had an incident.
Oh, yes, they are. Panther moves up into P9, but he's going to go side by side with SLR Dosser here.
Kevin, Barlow and Charlie.
Dosser goes back.
Barlow and Charlie.
Yeah, Barlow and Charlie, they are swapping positions yet again.
they're working together, but 4.8 now the second, back down to 4.7, the gap between P1 and P2. Kevin is flying.
Kevin really is flying. He loves these wet conditions, and
James with another incident, he's
in a
into the
very good
pits.
position. Yes, very painful.
Dawson
James,
didn't
he's
get
got
damage on
damage
that.
on the gun.
I think Dawson might be the victim of that. He did seem to be the car ahead of James, so maybe James missed the breaking point. I didn't see the incident, to be honest. That's only in my assumption, but he's right in the middle of these two McLarens, McLaren sandwich. I don't think Tuman has damage. I don't know if I said that already, but he has not lost much time at all, so I think he should be okay.
Yes, I'm just having a look at his car now. Can I see any visible damage? I can't.
No.
And hopefully Andrew doesn't have any sidepod damage himself. But yes, unfortunate to Andrew as well, because he was right up there fighting for potential podium place.
It's a
Someone who is
5.1.
now right up there fighting, who hasn't been fighting there for a while now, is SLR Hicklin in P4. He's done a mega job from 13th on the grid, as is Drastic Blaze just behind him.
The gap between P1 and P2 is just getting bigger and bigger. Kevin is flying up. He's so much more quick than Barlow and Charlie, as the gap between Barlow and Charlie is 1.4, so the position swap probably was for the best for the two Aston Martin drivers. So Barlow can try at least to catch Kevin, but there's always a chance for a safety car.
Yes, indeed. There is always
Hicklin spun around.
Hicklin's gone. Hicklin has gone. He's
spun around himself.
He was running brilliantly in P4, but he's just lost it, and that is really unfortunate for Hicklin. It's going to be a very good result for him, potentially. But he has made a mistake, and he has spun.
There's Leah and Zach on our side by side.
And Jack spun ahead of them. Jack has spun ahead of them.
Yeah, completely on his own, maybe, I think. I didn't see. Completely on his own.
He lost it on his own.
And
so yeah, that promotes Leah and Zach up a position. And now Panther and Tuman have gained another place as well, of course. As Jack is really struggling to get the power down after that spin.
I saw a yellow flag by Hicklin. I think Hicklin might have had another moment. He's recovered now, though. So Drastic now up 13 positions. He's P4, and he's got the podium, well, right in front of him.
Well, at the moment, he would get a podium by, of course, Barlow's 5-second penalty. But yes, he's doing very, very well. Is Drastic Blaze?
I think he's just out of it by 2 attempts.
I think he's just in it by 2 attempts. He's about 4.7 behind Barlow. He's about 4.7 seconds behind Barlow.
So
I think he is in it.
He's also got just over 15 laps to maintain it.
Yes, indeed he does. There's a long time to go, and now he's officially out of it. He's definitely got out of it now.
Yep, as Leah and Zach still like a magnet, right on top of each other. Not as close as they were last lap, but he's getting closer, so. As also Panther right on the rear of them. He's made up good progress as Panther.
Yes, he has. He has recovered well. Of course, he had that drive-through penalty. And you have to say, he would have been a bit higher up had he served that drive-through penalty earlier as well, I believe. Because he lost all that time.
That's just the risk he took. It didn't pay off with the safety cars, unfortunately for him. But he has the pace. He's slowly just nibbling away at the gaps. As Leah looking to the inside of Zach, but yeah, he's just too far back for now.
Yes, we're now on a pretty quiet stage, to be honest. Are we potentially going to see any pit stops?
We're spinning Jack at the back.
So.
Jack is in the wall. Could potentially be a VSC.
Yes, he is.
And damage.
And he has hit his rear wing as well.
I don't think he lost anything at the front. No, he didn't lose anything at the front, luckily, so no debris VSC. Luckily for him.
Jack is staying out.
Yeah. There's Kevin 6.7 seconds ahead. That gap has continued to stay up, but Barlow unable to have an answer. He has pulled away from Charlie, his teammate, 2.8 seconds. The gaps are kind of now starting to spread out. People are kind of finding their groove. As Doss is out.
As Dosser is out, he
spun on his own
in the middle sector, and there is a full safety car.
Oh,
there is a full safety car. Now, what does Kevin do? Does he stay out? Does he pit?
No.
Kevin is going to stay out.
Now about Barlow.
And what the Aston Martins could do is split their strategies here. Barlow is going to come in and serve his penalty as Jack's got a drive through.
Oh,
Charlie is double stacking behind him.
Barlow sped.
Oh no, he's got rid of his 5-second penalty, replaced it with another.
Now look who's got to wait. Look who's got to wait. Oh, he's fed apart with the Aston Martins. As Charlie has got to wait for his teammate to serve his penalty.
God. And so that's going to put Panther up one as well.
And Drastic Blaze up to P2. 15 places has he gained.
But this is interesting here now because Kevin, Drastic Blaze, Zach's Beast and Leah have not pitted, and they're going to be trying to go to the end of the race here, I assume.
I mean, with these safety cars, maybe puncture territory might not be what we might not enter it.
Yeah.
Because of the safety cars. That might be the reason why people are staying out. They're kind of using reverse because of the safety cars. They're not pitting.
Yes. But this is going to be so interesting to see how fast these drivers are going to be, as Tooman's lost out quite a bit as well. As of course Tooman was having to double stack behind Panther, and I think they'd have been held up by potentially the Aston Martin's double stack as well, given the position of their cars in the pit lane.
I believe that does not happen on this game as it did last game. I don't think you could be held up by another team's car. I'm not sure though.
It does. It does.
Okay.
It happened in Canada for the two Red Bulls they got in the McEwen division. They got held up massively because the two McLarens double stacked.
Okay.
I think they went from second and third coming in the pits to 8th and 13th.
Okay. All right. I just haven't seen it yet, but so that might have been effective. It might have affected the McLarens.
But now this is going to be so fascinating though. Has Kevin made a blunder by staying out? Should he potentially have pitted knowing he had such a lead that, well, he'd only have dropped down very little? But of course you have that issue. He is the leader. He wouldn't have known. He wouldn't have known how many people would be pitting behind him. Had he pitted and everyone else stayed out, then all of a sudden he would have lost a massive amount of track position.
So if he did pit and everyone else did the same, then he then he would still have the lead, correct?
Yes, however, if he'd have pitted and no one else had pitted, then he would have been down at about P7 or something.
So it's just a risk,
P7,
really, and something he could not have done much about, unfortunately for him. So he has got the tyre deck disadvantage, but he's got the track position advantage, so he's got to hope that...
And he's shown great pace this race. He's got to just pull away from Drastic Blaze, Zach's Beast and Leah here. He's definitely had the pace on Drastic Blaze. It's just whether... It's just how quickly the other drivers can get through and potentially catch up to him, and whether he can make it to the end of the race. Very, very interesting different strategies here. And Leah's doing okay as well, because he's only on 11-lap old tyres. Got to bear in mind that Leah had a couple of incidents. He crashed, he lost his front wing. And so he has a bit newer tyres than the drivers ahead of him because he had to pit to serve that front wing change.
About the pace advantage that Kevin has, you've got to remember that in terms of the safety car restart, all's fair. It's a fair playing field. If Blaze can get the run, doesn't matter how much quicker Kevin is. If Blaze can get ahead, and you know how hard overtaking is on this track, he has the ability to hold him up quite a lot.
This is just key. The safety car restart is absolutely key for Kevin. He's got to bolt and try and get away as much as he possibly can.
The issue is, especially now in the wet, if he is desperate, because he needs to be desperate to put away, if you just stab that throttle, you know what's going to happen.
As Tooman is elected to pit again under the safety car. So he's lost the position to Jack, but Jack does have to serve a drive-through penalty. So he's not actually lost any positions effectively and has like 2% fresher tyres. So
but
a little
2%
bit of a
can mean the difference. 2%
Yes,
can
I
be
think
the
I
difference.
also know what he's going for as well. I think I also know what he's going for as well.
What's that?
With that pit stop, he's going to have warmer tyres. He doesn't have to warm them up as much because they're to come out of the tyre blankets.
Yeah.
And yes, he's going to be sitting back a bit and potentially trying to get momentum. So
And right
could have
now,
quite
as
a
he
good
was catching up,
restart here, Katuman.
right, as he was catching up as well, he's driving quicker than everyone else, so he's obviously getting more temp than everyone else naturally, plus the advantage he would have had. So a little bit fresher tyres and warmer tyres, which is kind of all that matters at the moment. Safety car in this lap.
Yes, that is correct. And we can get going once again.
Lots of hold-ups so far this race, but hopefully this can be the last one. We just want to watch them race. So see
Indeed
how much of
we
a
do.
gap Kevin is going to give to the safety car. The gap is so important, as if you've still got a limiter on the restart, you're probably going to spin, especially in this condition. So looks like he's done a good job, and we'll see when he gets underway. And he is gone. Blaze
Yeah, Drastic Blaze is rinsing his battery though. He's going to try and get close to him, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. As further back, I think Barlow's going to maybe think about it on SLR Lear. And Charlie's certainly going to think about it on Panther. Charlie's going to go round the outside of Panther here, is he? No, he doesn't. As Tuma gets position on Jack.
Blaze now already
1.2.
1.2 seconds behind Kevin. Kevin is doing exactly what he needs to do now. As Barlow and Leah are fighting. Barlow got ahead of Leah. I don't know if Leah made a mistake.
I think he must have done. He's lost a lot of momentum, and Panther's now right up the back end of Leah as well. So
he lost, I think, at the exit of turn. Is that turn 4, I believe? Turn 3? I'm not sure.
Yes. I think he lost. He did definitely lose the exit there.
So not ideal for him. Ideal for Barlow though, as he has got the penalty, which another 5 seconds, which is self-inflicted as he hit speed in the pits. But it kind of damaged limitation for him, and he's doing a good job as he is already 7 tenths behind Zach.
Yes, he is of course the lead driver on the newer tyres as well. So if he gets these moves, then he should have the pace, and could potentially even have the pace to clear that 5-second penalty as well. That is of course what you've got to bear in mind. If he gets these positions made early, then potentially the win could be on for Barlow, but it's going to have to be really hard for him, as Jack has had a bit of a spin and is having an absolute nightmare here.
Tuman
lost his wing.
Tuman got past Hicklin, so Tuman's into the points. Hicklin into the pits. OG James. He has a few incidents, but he's in P9, so not too bad for him, all things considered.
Yes, that is proof.
Zach is caught up to Drastic.
Yes, Drastic Blaze is definitely a bit of a roadblock here now, and this is exactly what Kevin needs. This is exactly what he needs. Because
the tyres, basically, that's exactly why.
Yeah, because of the tyres. Yeah, because of the tyres. He is just going to be praying, Drastic Blaze, can you please hold these guys up as much as you can, please?
2.7 is the gap now. I think if I was Drastic, I mean, he is kind of holding his own right now, but you see the pace disadvantage. In the best interest of his race, he should not fight this too hard, I think. He can.
But if he can stay ahead, though, then I mean, well, look at that. He is able to stay ahead, and
it's all about the exit.
He's not losing any time by defending. He's not losing any time by defending as of yet. As Jack has gone yet again in sector 2.
I think it's just an attempt to check at the moment, uncontrollable car. But yeah, like you said, with Blaze, if this was like almost any other track other than Zandvoort, par like Monaco or whatever.
Oh, Barlow's gone off. Barlow has made a mistake. Could this potentially open up Panther? This is crucial for this race. Leah's got past him.
He's got Panther.
Panther's going to go around the outside. Oh, they're going side by side here, Panther and Barlow. And Panther has made the move, and that is absolutely pivotal for this race.
That is a hugely important move for Panther.
Tuman once again is trying to make the move on Andrew, and Andrew shuts the door on him, says no thank you. I think that's a little bit of afters after what happened earlier. I think if that was anyone other than Tuman, Andrew would have given him a bit more room, but no love lost there between the two of them after that incident, I think.
Oh, an eye for an eye. The gap now 3.7 all as Tooman loses the rear bit. Gap 3.7 at the front as SLR Jack disqualified from the session.
He did not serve his drive-through penalty. That is why he's been disqualified.
Not the cleverest move. Anyway,
we move on.
We've got to look at Hicklin. You know, only 11 people. If one more DNF, then Hicklin is in the points, which is a big deal for him.
Yes, it is. It's a big deal for him. But he's had such a topsy-turvy race as well. It's now Charlie and Andrew going at it. Andrew's going to go up the inside of Charlie. Was defending from Tooman last lap. Best form of defence, attack. He's going to go side by side from Charlie for the first couple of corners. Oh, they make contact. And that is Andrew gone.
That was
and he's lost his wheel.
Oh, that's so unlucky.
Out of this race.
So, like literally what I just say, Hicklin in the points. But that's always going to happen.
And another safety car. Another safety car.
That was always going to happen, I think. I mean, they got a bit aggressive unnecessarily, but going into a corner like that in the wet, even in the dry, is risky. The slightest bit of contact will spin at least one of you, and it happened.
Yes, but yeah, this is once again we are in with a safety car.
Kevin needs to pit. They're all in the same delta at the moment, aren't they? Maybe a good...
Oh, nah, no way. No way.
No?
There's been so many laps under the safety car that if he pits, essentially all he is doing is just throwing away any chance of a victory.
I mean,
He's just throwing it away completely.
I'm not going to lie, I
think he's got to hold this out. I think he's got to hold this out, really. He'd drop down to P9 if he pits. And I think Kevin has to just try and take these tyres to the end and see if he can do it.
I thought the grid was more spread out because they are so compact at the moment. Yeah, pitting is a terrible idea.
The only person I would say is potentially maybe worth pitting is Barlow.
Hicklin.
Because he has a 5-place penalty. And of course Hicklin or OG James as well.
I think
Barlow to serve his penalty could be quite useful.
I think with Hicklin, it depends if he thinks he's got enough pace to get ahead. If not, maybe it's just better to play safe, get the fresh set of
he has only got
tyres.
1 lap old softs anyway, so he doesn't really need to. And he might not catch up the field if he doesn't pit anyway, but yes, the fourth and what will be the final safety car. We have reached the cap of safety cars on this game. There's a maximum of 4 safety cars per race, and we have had those 4. So there will be no more stoppages like this for the remainder of the session, but one thing it does mean, AWRL Kevin got to do it all again. Got to pull his gap all again.
It's unlucky for him, considering how quick he was. You know, he's regaining...
all his tyres in the field, and, well, at the moment, he still has the fastest lap as well, so he's driving exceptionally well in the rain as AWRL Kevin.
Over the day so far, I think, Kevin. I know it's early, you know, but so far he's driven so well.
I completely agree. Of course, Drastic Blaze up 15 positions as well. Had his lap 1 incident, pit at the end of lap 1, I believe, for damage, and has just stayed in there and is now running in P2. So fair play, Drastic Blaze.
Now, all the drivers need to do is finish in his points, so I wonder if there's going to be a little bit less aggression between them all. Now they know that no matter what happens, if they finish those points. But, we've got someone in the pits, OG
maybe.
James, so Hicklin
Yes.
up to P9, and Barlow has overtaken Charlie.
Oh no, I think that was Charlie overtaking Barlow and Barlow taking the position.
Okay. Okay. I was a bit confused then. But yeah, they are. I reckon. Safety car on this lap. Do you think OG James can catch up?
I think he can catch up, and I think he will.
Yeah, definitely. Especially So safety car should be in this lap, and we'll have uninterrupted racing. Can there be a VSC or? I know there's a limit on safety car. I don't know if there's a limit on virtual safety cars.
I think there can be, yes. Although we have already had 2 VSCs as well.
Yeah.
We might have reached our limit with all of the stoppages, potentially.
I will say now, the other divisions, I got to think of something insane to beat this race.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous.
Barlow's round.
Barlow's round.
He touched the curb. I was aboard of him when it happened. It was really good timing. Yeah, he was just touched while warming up his tyres and went round.
Yes, so he's dropped down to P8 here.
With his penalty as well.
And that is really unfortunate for Barlow.
Hicklin is net P8. Scenes.
My goat.
Scenes.
Running very, very well at Hicklin.
But yeah, I mean, he's that one spin, and if he didn't have that one spin, he'd be higher than he is. So he has driven very, very well. But here we go then.
P2 ahead of Drastic Blaze. As here we are, we're getting ready to go. I think Leah's got a good run on Zach's Beast here. Leah, is he going to be able to fight for the podium here? Oh, he's at the back of Zach's Beast. Slightly, and there's the... Oh, was Panther's gone? Panther, I think, tried to nip it on the inside of Leah, and he has hit the wall, and I don't know whether he's got damage or not. It's not visible, but he might have got damage from that.
Tuman on Charlie for that back. Tuman will have a traction disadvantage here. Or they do touch wheels a little bit, and Charlie is forced to the grass, but always fair, I think, there. Tuman getting a good run on Arlo as well, but he will just be too far back, and 1.1 seconds is the gap between P1 and P2 already.
Yeah, Kevin is bolting yet again, and while all of the drivers on the fresh tyres now, they're just fighting amongst themselves.
They need to work together here. They can catch Kevin if they just work together.
Oh, was Barlow has a little bit of a wobble, and Tuman's got back past him. Tuman has moved up into P6, and I think Panther has damage, so that is going to be Tuman up into P5 now. And can Tuman potentially get this victory here?
Look at
Barlow is trying to get past Panther here.
Just can't make it. He can't really do it on the outside of that corner. Not possible. But are you sure Panther's got... Oh, he definitely got damage. Look at that. Look at the difference in braking. As now Barlow's going to be in trouble to his teammate behind. I think Panther's definitely got damage.
Yeah, Barlow really struggling here on the rear. The Panther stays out. He's taking that risk.
I mean, you see how early he broke for that penultimate corner. Kind of really messed up Barlow, to be honest. But yeah, he broke so early, and now Tuman's just leaving him for dust.
Yes, and Tuman is now potentially in with a shot of the win, at least provisionally, of course. There might be an incident pending with his
Lots of
incident
laps
between him and Andrew, but we've got to just focus on the race now.
There's a 2.3. There's the gap between Kevin and Blaze. Kevin driving it really, really well, and Zach just can't find a way past. He's clearly quicker.
Yes, indeed.
Barlow
nips it up the inside, and he's made the move stick.
Panther struggling now. He's going to be under threat from Charlie as he tries to go around the outside. Just can't quite get the traction he needs, but he's going to have overtake. He's going to have slipstream, which he isn't taking, and he will just settle behind down for P8.
Yes, indeed. He's going to be very, very frustrated in the cockpit, Charlie, because he knows that there is definitely damage on that McLaren. That's losing
Get a good exit here, though, compared to Panther. 100% ERS is Charlie. Most of them are about 100%. All of them.
And I think the potential
apart
could be
from
a move to P3 here, as Leah is so close to the back of Zach's Beast.
Blaze is using a...
Tuman is now here.
Yeah, right, actually, yeah, Tuman is now here, looking so much quicker. Leah just about leaves. Oh, that's bad. That move. There's about... I would say there was a car's width. I would say exactly a car's width. I don't think there was two. I think he might get away with that. I think he will. I think there was about exactly a car's width.
I think to be honest, I think potentially Tuman was maybe too far back to try it initially as is. Like he only got within. He only touched Leah's back wheels before obviously they made contact. Only got through Leah's back wheels before they made contact. So.
I think he'll be fine on that one. I don't think that was anything too...
Yeah, they've just lost a bit of time, but they should be able to catch back. They're clearly quicker than the cars ahead in these conditions. As Chicken Rosary in the chat has said, praying that Div 3 is dry. Yes. Going by this race, there's going to be 10 or less finishes in Division 3 if it rains there, because But yeah, this is absolute carnage, and we could see a similar thing to what we saw in this race here.
Hickman further back, holding his own against James. Or
yes, he is.
Oh, James looks a bit mistaken. He lost about 5 tenths in the last corner. I think it was 3. Zach is still just pushing along. Plays, can't find a way past. But yeah, I think what you said right at the beginning of quali is just how hard it is it is to overtake ground here. Oh, Leah's on the grass a little bit there on entry to the corner.
Yeah, Tooman potentially see a move.
I think he didn't lose anything from that. But it's gone.
Yeah, it's still as is.
But does Bob have damage?
I'm not sure. He's quicker than Panther, but he's not closing up to the straight.
Tooman is pushing Leah. Got a bit of a switchback there. Leah's going to be in a bit of trouble. See if he's got that straight line speed. He's definitely got the confidence, but he chooses to stay behind for now. I'm really impressed with Tooman, to be honest. His pace has been good. Apart from that, the one incident he did have, he's driven decently well.
Yes, of course he had the spin earlier on in the race as well, and I think potentially, yeah, he's just been trying to play catch up all race, and whilst he has had the pace and has potentially made the moves.
Oh, here comes Leah and Zach.
It's not gone right. Yeah, here we are. Leah and Zach, they've been battling all race. Can Leah hold it around the outside here? This will be mega if he can.
Here comes Tooman.
They bang wheels a bit. Can Tooman potentially make it 3 wide here? They're still going side by side, Leah and Zach. Leah has got the position. He's muscled his way through and up into the podium positions.
Zach makes a little mistake.
Squirrely.
Make contact with Tooman. Hopefully no damage for Tooman. Yeah, he did run straight to the back. 2 minutes to Zach. It wasn't Tooman's fault, but he's now running wide.
He's got a bit of understeer. Is that?
I wonder if he's got damage. Let's see now in this corner. Maybe he's okay, but look at Zach coming back.
Finally, Charlie's got his man. Finally, Charlie has got Panther.
But Blaze is just pulling away. They're fighting, and Blaze says, "All right, see you later then."
Oh, Hicklin's going to lunge it up the inside of Panther. Oh, he nearly makes it stick, but yeah, he was.
The scenes.
Actually, a bit late.
There's a 4.9. The gap. I think Kevin maybe he hasn't pushed that much, to be honest with you. These past like 4 or so laps, maybe he's just been a bit conservative.
And Tooman definitely has damage. He's losing a lot of time to Zach here.
That is so unfortunate. Completely not his fault. Just a passenger.
Yeah, I mean, obviously took the risk trying to get close to Leah and Zach as they were going side by side, and ultimately has paid the price.
Not Zach's fault either, I will add. Not Zach's fault at all. He just lost.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you have people fighting with such close proximity in the wet, then yeah, you're bound to have a bit of contact, and unfortunately that contact has given Tooman damage.
Just to
Leah's now closing in on Drastic Blaze.
Just to express how good of a defensive job Blaze has been doing, you see the gap was 1.1 seconds. Now, Leah's already catched up, so he's clearly a lot quicker, but Blaze is just putting the car where he needs to put it. And he's managing to hold whoever behind. He really good job for Blaze.
Yes, and whilst this is going on, we've completely forgotten about AWRL Kevin. Once again, gone off into the distance and on tyres that have done the entire race.
Yeah, he is driving really well. Obviously, helped by Blaze holding him up, but that's not the only reason why. His pace has been outstanding.
He was in effective P1 from lap 3 or 4 onwards, I believe. After, of course, Panther, Tooman, Leah all made mistakes when they were in P1.
And you got to be in it to win it, haven't you? So making mistakes will mess you up. And he just hasn't made any.
As soon as he got into P1, he never looked back. As soon as he got into P1, he never looked back, Kevin.
So,
and at the moment is thoroughly deserving of this victory. There's still a few laps remaining, and it's very tricky these conditions.
I think Zach's done a good job. He is holding onto the rear of Drastic and Leah, but I think he's struggling just a touch. And Tooman, I mean, look at the gap. He's gone. He 100% has damage, and Barlow is all over the rear of him.
Yes.
I think hero to 0 for McLaren's.
Indeed.
Same
What
to
a
say
good
for the
qualifying,
Astons.
but
They were on second and third, were they not? Barlow and Charlie. Now they're 6th and 7th. So they do bang wheels, do 2 minute Barlow. Barlow is clearly
slightly
quicker.
different lines through those corners.
Yeah.
But yeah, Barlow's just got to be a bit patient here. He is going to have to be wary of his 5-second penalty, but and that's probably why Tuman's fighting this so hard, is because he wants to make sure that Barlow does not romp off into the distance and get that 5
so
seconds.
Easy to spin. So easy to spin now for Barlow in the dirty of another car. I put his overtake on quite early, that was brave. He will have a run down on the main straight. He will be able to break it just a touch later as Tuman holds the inside line. Barlow opts for the outside. Can he just get better traction than Tuman? No, he can't. Tuman leaves a perfect amount of room. Really good defensive driving as Barlow just has to settle from behind.
But here we are. He's going to go up the inside here. Oh, they bang wheels. And Barlow's got off a bit. He saves that very, very well. But
should catch up again.
Yeah, should catch up again. But
I think there's too much wrong with that.
Contact.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think that was more they kind of understeered Barlow kind of understeered into Tuman. Tuman maybe moved over a bit to the left, a bit of both, and it's just meant that they've had a bit of a collision, and unfortunately that's lost Barlow a bit of time. He should be able to catch up nicely.
It does mean, don't know his ability to pull 5 seconds anymore if he does get past.
Oh, as the other person with damage, of course, Panther, we mustn't forget, does have that damage as well. OG James is going to get past him.
And Hicklin, don't count out Hicklin, he's hanging on 9 times behind. If Panther has got such a place disadvantage, don't count out Hicklin. Or Batcher got a bit
of
more
extra. Panther and OG James come together as well, then potentially be hitting in it. Here we are, OG James got a good run on the start finish straight here. Panther goes defensive.
James kind of backed out a little bit there. Didn't brake as late as he could have done, and he does stay behind. Not really all that aggressive as James, but all that means is Hicklin is able to just say, "Hi guys, don't forget about me. I'm right here."
Staying in it, and he's poised to pick up the spoils.
Barlow only made up about 7/10 on that lap. So, not exactly... Oh, as never mind, Tuman goes very, very deep into that corner, puts him right on the rear. And maybe he'll be eyeing up a move into what would be a DRS zone.
Yes. I'm still on board with OG James, though, as he is hounding the back of Panther.
Oof. Just a bit of a poor exit for him there, so doesn't get the run on Panther that he perhaps would have wanted. Down the main straight he'll be able to kind of try again, and hopefully he'll be a bit more committed. I mean, Panther has got maybe slightly less damage than Charlie. He's caught up. But here comes James. Oh, into the wall. James into the wall. Understood.
I would not be surprised at all if that is damage for him as well.
It's got 3 cars ahead of him. Hicklin with 3 cars ahead of him, all with damage, 2 laps to go. He could, well, potentially get all 3, but I would expect him to get maybe even just at least 1. But has Jack got damage? He looks pretty racy. Not sure if James actually did get damage from that. We'll see on this corner how much understeer.
I think he's got very, very lucky if he hasn't.
Yeah, he definitely does. He definitely does.
That was a lot of understeer. That was an awful lot of understeer.
Hicklin not making much of an impression. As kind of forgot about this battle. Blake is still holding his own against Leah.
He has done very, very well as first place.
I understand Kevin's made at least 7.4 seconds ahead, but just the defensive driving, I'm going to have to, so far, give my driver of the day to Blaze. And Kevin sets the fastest lap of the race on those completely destroyed tyres as he stops the final lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty much dominant since Kevin took the lead.
Barlow and
Until he
Tooman.
fancied it in the wet. And yes, here we go.
Barlow right in the slipstream. He's going to try for the inside line. Tooman covers it off, switches to the outside. Leaves just about a car's. Oh no!
Oh,
that was limit. That was on the limit.
Yeah, I do wonder whether Barlow perhaps is a little bit frustrated. Did cut Tooman off a bit.
I was on board with Barlow. I was on board with Barlow as they went when they went through. I think from Barlow's point of view, there was exactly a car's width, but it's another one that's definitely going to go to the stewards. 100%.
In what has been an incredibly incident-packed race, really, you have to say. It's going to end with Tooman and P10.
We'll come back on.
Now we go on board with AWRL Kevin. Yes.
He's had a dominant race.
Kevin, he qualified P5, made up a position or two off the start, and then when drivers faltered around him, when drivers made mistakes, when drivers made the wrong pit stop strategies, he has just completely ignored all of that, put all of those drivers behind him and taken a dominant victory. Drastic Blaze is going to get P2 here from 17th on the grid with SLR Lear in P3. Zakis Beast gets P4, but Barlow is going to come home in P5 on track, but has a 5-second time penalty, so I think he'll drop down. So that should be Charlie in P5. Panther's going to get P6, Odie James P7, Hicklin P8 after Barlow's penalty. And then finally ARL Tooman, who was the driver who qualified in P2, is going to come up towards the line, hits the wall to show his frustration at the end of the race, and finishes P10, but still scores a point.
So that is that. That was wow. Yeah, Drastic Blaze gets the game driver of the day, and he gets my driver of the day. Personally, I think he drove extremely well defensively. He just kind of shows that, you know, one thing is catching up, another thing is to overtake. So he kind of shows how hard it is to overtake, and he's done a great job.
Yes, so I'm just inviting the podium sitters of the party. I don't know whether Drastic Blaze has a mic, but it would be good to speak to him if he does. Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Yes. Yes, we're just getting the other two podium finishers in, and we'll talk to them first, and then we'll talk to you.
Yeah.
And yes, actually, there was a topic about this actually last week. A no-stopper's won a race. I wonder whether that's the first time that's happened in SLR. That's kind of cool, I think, that a no-stopper's won the Grand Prix.
I don't. My time was 40%. I don't know how I held out of them. They felt great the whole race, and I set the fastest lap 2 laps from the end. So
yes,
I felt really slow. Well, all thanks Drastic Blaze for holding everyone up.
Yes, but yeah, let's start off with. We'll start off with P3 Leah, but Drastic Blaze, as I thought, he doesn't have a mic. But congratulations to him for the P2, and I believe the driver of the day vote as well, from coming from 17th to 2nd in the wet. I think we were saying about commentators' curses, Alfie. Well, this is a commentator's curse. I said, there's not going to be only overtaking this race, and we had that, so. That's all good. So yeah, we'll keep it short though, because the Grand Prix qualifying is just about to start. So I guess starting off with Leah in P3. Well, you got damage quite early on, but fought back, many safety cars. How do you feel with the podium?
Yeah, pretty good. Obviously made a move on Zach towards the end, which went well. And yeah, just Blaze was just fast in all the right places and couldn't get past him in the end, so take P3.
Yes, and yes, of course, especially after instant early on in the race, did you kind of fear it was going to be one of those where you'd maybe spin a few times or something like that, or was it just simply about, right, head down, I've spun now, I've made my mistake, let's keep it clean to the end of the race?
Yeah, I mean, seeing Tooman spin and then Panther picking up drive through, I was like, oh, here we go, this is my race, and then I lost it straight away, and then yeah, I just thought safety car's going to get me back into it, and I'm not going to pit for the rest of the race, so yeah, just keep it clean and try and make up some moves if I can. But yeah,
Yes, and a very good drive from yourself to get that podium, that recovery. And yeah, now on to Kevin. Well, how do you think your race went? Well, obviously you won by quite a distance. And you of course did the no stop strategy. So kind of what was the thinking behind that, and just how did you just generally feel in the wet race?
I thought I was gonna drive first, and my tires were feeling great, so I thought I'd take the risk, and I won't pit. I have the pace because the tires were so grippy. I was what 7 seconds ahead in the first few laps of the guy in second. Was Jurassic Blaze holding everyone up, and yeah, tires felt great. So I thought, well, I'll take the risk. Why not? I'm P1. And of course, qualifying went not great because I was P5, and well, I don't know how this happened. Just dude McLaren spun, and Panther got a drive through. I got lucky.
Yes, but of course you took your luck, and yes, first race win in SLR, and
Yeah, that
well, in
was pretty
brilliant
quick.
circumstances
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, so congratulations for the victory.
Well,
And yeah,
thanks.
that's all we got time for. Thank you all for watching. Please join us at 9 p.m. for Division 3. Good night.